taxi driver today in your country or mine is a taxi driver not because of the love of it, but because he needs to earn for his family. So if we can help him discover what makes him tick, what makes him happy, it would be a different kind of economy that Bangladesh would be creating. And this need not be high tech. That boy, it's a World Economic Forum, video about 1.5 hours long on gig working. People who are your listeners can watch it. That boy, he's in love with guitars. He's that kind of a person, like any other youth in your country or mine. But he follows a particular passion. There is something that he discovered that he's good at, and he's searching for jobs and he's getting them. At any given time, he's doing minimum of 7 jobs. Part of it is a retainer and the rest as, incentives. And this is going to be the trend for almost all. I mean, there is a manufacturing company very close to here in Pune who discovered during the COVID that the work can be done without losing productivity for only 25% of the staff being there. The rest need not come. Okay, which means that 25% can also be cut down by robotics. So unless these people can discover where they can fit themselves, and those cannot be those routine jobs. So therefore, there has to be critical thinking, creative thinking, emotional thinking. Okay, so those are the jobs where you need to not skill them, but you need to tweak their attitude towards that. I mean, in your house and mine, sir, you will discover that there is somebody who's very fond of painting. But for no rhyme or reason, he has to go and work in an office because he has a family to maintain. Okay, but he's happy of painting. So can we develop that skill to a global level? That is the attitudinal correction that I'm talking. And that is what the youth of Bangladesh needs to look at very seriously, and the family must support. The government cannot do much on that. It will be the families who must begin this movement, and that should be supported by the government.
Sir, exactly, government cannot do anything for developing or for selecting their right choice. But if someone is very good at painting, he has passion for painting, but government can support by establishing painting institute there so that he can learn how to paint something according to Indian style, according to US style, according to European style. So there are different thoughts, different school of painting. So if government can facilitate this sort of instrumental or institutional arrangement, then the young generation can harness their likings.
I'll tell you what, both in your country and mine, if there is a boy or a girl who's very fond of sports, okay, the normal attitude is, look, go and study. The sports you can do much later. Okay. And by the time he can do it, he's too old to make a cut. So there are sports schools that have come up all over my country for sure. I'm not sure about your country, but I'm sure there too. But how many of the people who have made the cut actually went to that school?
Yeah.
So government can provide that, but unless the social correction where the parents don't say, look, you first do your graduation or your matriculation or whatever. This can happen later, or this is not important, unless that correction. So a social correction is now the need of the hour to support the youth to think right now, or think in the context of what's happening. And you are saying 2030, COVID may have catalyzed it and brought it even faster. It might be 2027.
Yes. So in this context, could you please explain if the private sector institution, they started to hire employee based on assignment based employment. So then is it possible that there will be more unemployment?
No. See, this is what the World Economic Forum says. It's not only me. The human employment will move towards all that requires human interface. Now, what do I mean by that? Let me tell you. Whatever is routine, whatever is repetitive, can all be done by automation today. So there are now software which will, we have Alexa and we have, those kind which do a lot of things. Artificial intelligence is going to take over. So those that are repetitive will have robots, will have drones, that will be done. Like, let's say this food delivery service, already, the experiments are on where drones can deliver. So this particular gig worker might also lose his job. So we will have to look at jobs that have a human interface, and human interface is the emotional one. So let's say a caregiver will be required because there is a salesperson will be required because there is a lot of empathy if you have to be a successful salesman. Now, this is a skill that can't be trained. That's an attitudinal skill. I tell in my class, see, I differentiate between sales and a marketing, which is how it is anyway. So I say a good salesman is the one, no matter how much stress on him, but can get up and say, how can I help? Okay. A good marketing person is the one who can, again, under severe stress, can get up and say, how can I spread happiness? Now, if you notice in both the cases, it is more hard than this. When it is this, machine is going to take over. If it is only this, but if it is a mix of these two, then that machine will not be there for next maybe 200 years.
Yes.
Okay. So a gig worker will be something like that. The skill that requires to be taught to each and every youth, and that is where it is the what should I say, the crux of everything is the entrepreneurial skills, which starts with empathy and ends with empathy. The rest of the thing can be done by machines.
So, sir, exactly, we are discussing about local social aspect of gig economy, state or country level aspect of good gig economy. But we started the opportunities for the young generation of Bangladesh. So if we would like to touch in that opportunity part, what would be the possible opportunity for Bangladeshi youth to work even in Silicon Valley from Bangladesh? So how these gig opportunities can be grabbed by the young generation?
This is the only place where your government, your foreign ministry, your trade ministry must be able to constantly scan and bring back to the youth as to the changes that are happening. Because the youth in our country do not have that access. It is expensive if they individually were to try. But if they were willing to look at those and bring it forth and just create a few success stories, the youth will suddenly, they know how to find their ways. They are not like you and me. When we were to look around, we were groping in the dark. They know how to find their way. I have a lot of young Bangladeshi people who I know, and Indians, of course, I know. So to Pakistanis, to be honest. And the youth is now far smarter than what we can imagine. And they know how to find their way. Okay, so the only thing is that the route, how this is to be scanned, must be done And that is where government and a variety of private sector organization can help.
So
They can get work like this and first subcontract. It will not take the youth more than 2-3 years to discover how they can get there directly.
Sir, exactly. During early age of outsourcing, while Bangladeshi youth started outsourcing,